Welcome back to the show. We have some more music to share with you today, and this is really an incredibly unique experience, and really excited to talk to my next guest, tell you all about it. I'm joined by Ania Hejnar. She is from the Société de Philharmonique de Nouveau, Monde. Welcome back. It's great to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me back.
We were just talking, you go back with this group for about 10 years, but tell me a little bit about this group, because it is a very unique experience for attendees, isn't it?
It certainly is. The group is made up of three separate choirs, and Maestro Michel Pousseau, the conductor, he rehearses with a choir from Montreal, a choir from outside of Montreal, often in Sainte-Thérèse, and a choir in Ottawa. And then twice a year, he combines all three choirs. They sing together. Usually it's about 150 people on stage. There's an orchestra involved, and we create some really wonderful music.
So does he do that virtually, or is he able to bring everybody together?
Well, he goes in person every rehearsal, and shortly before the performance dates, everybody comes together, and they have a number of rehearsals together.
So there's 150 that are singing, 27-piece orchestra, and then there's 4 soloists.
Correct.
Is that right?
In this particular performance setting, we have 4 soloists.
Are you one?
I am one. I'm one of the sopranos. We have another amazing soprano, Andrienne. We have Emmanuel, the tenor, and Alexandre, the baritone, as well.
And you're performing a couple of really unique pieces, and in particular, Mozart's Great Mass in C minor. Tell me what's so special about this one.
This is really a special mass, if it can even be called a mass, because it was unfinished. And it's not unfinished because of a death, like some other composers. This one was unfinished about 10 years before he passed away. And there's a lot of speculation as to why that might be. It could be because one of his children passed away during a tour of his, and he really didn't have the heart to finish. It could be because his family members did not approve of his relationship with Constance, which this would have been written for her in celebration of their marriage. And there's another good chance that it was not adapted quite well by the church, because it sounds a little bit more operatic. And the church was very, very particular about music in a sanctuary during those times. They really wanted to stay away from an operatic sound and more of a sacred sound.
I see.
But we don't really know. There's a lot of speculation out there.
For people that aren't familiar, it's called a mass for what reason?
Well, it celebrates the church setting, so it is religious. And in this particular mass, it is an incomplete mass. One, because some of the instruments were not completely composed by Mozart yet. And there is an Agnus Dei that is missing. And so that is why it's incomplete.
Interesting. Okay, and then there's another piece.
Yes.
I'll let you pronounce it because you pronounce it so much better than I do. But again, another beautiful piece. Tell me about it.
Yes, it's called Exsultate, Jubilate. It is a celebratory sacred piece as well. It runs about 14 or 15 minutes with just the soprano solo. I'm very fortunate to be able to do this one again this time around. And it has one of the most famous Mozart arias, Alleluia, in it. It's very well known throughout the classical world.
I mean, whenever I go and see a classical piece, I just find that they seem so complicated. Can you just put that in perspective, like how not only for you as a singer, but for those in the orchestra, are these incredibly complicated pieces?
I think that I always like to compare opera singers and musicians to ballerinas. We have been studying our craft for many, many years, and we definitely prepare heavily in order for the performances to be up to a certain standard. So I've been working on my preparation probably since before Christmas at this point, just to make sure that it's going to be, up to my level, and to make sure that Mozart would be proud.
I love it. Tell me about your background. How did you get into music?
Well, I started off as a violinist when I was really young. My mother was in an orchestra as well, Kingston Symphony Orchestra, and but I always really loved singing. And so instead of singing classical music at a young age, I was, in my room jamming to Destiny's Child or Christina Aguilera. And my dad's like, well, maybe we should try to venture into a different field. And so I went into university for voice, and I ended up getting my master's degree in vocal performance at the University of Ottawa. And I've been studying and working with wonderful musicians ever since.
What about opportunities? You know, that I think for many people, they probably think the opportunities are few and far between. But is there a resurgence to, you know, an appreciation of classical music?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ottawa is thriving with so many classical performances and concerts. There are so many wonderful conductors and soloists and choirs. It is a huge choir community here. So I bet you almost every single weekend or quite a few over the summer, you can definitely get your foot in the door for some great concerts.
Yeah, we've had 13 Strings on the show, as you know them very well. They have shows throughout the entire year. What can you tell me about Maestro Michel Brousseau, who's conducting this? Because that's an incredible role. Whenever I watch it, I always imagine how much fun that would be.
Yes.
Have you ever thought about actually conducting something yourself?
Well, I mean, I have a small children's choir.
Oh, there you
so
go.
It's a slightly different
There we got a picture
scale.
of Michel right there.
A slightly different scale.
But what's that role?
Well, Michel is a virtuosic maestro, if I may say. He's an amazing pianist as well. And he's able to bring every single piece he creates to life with the people in front of him that he conducts. So it's just a wonderful experience to watch him create that.
It must be quite a skill.
It is
right?
a skill.
Because I think people watch it and they go, oh, you know, he's just, but he's
it's a skill.
I mean, you really are paying attention. It's not something like you could close your eyes and he'd still be going on.
And
right?
I've seen him do it by memory too. I've seen him conduct a whole work without music in front of him. And here I am with a couple of songs needing to have the music in front of me. It's pretty cool. I love it.
And so tell everybody at home where and when it's happening.
Yes, so here in Ottawa, we have our performance Saturday, May 27th at Carleton Dominion Chalmers at 8 o'clock p.m. And you can get tickets on our website as well.
Wonderful. Are we going to see you performing the national anthem again?
Yes, absolutely. I do the TD plays. I just did the Atletico game.
Oh, excellent.
And I did my first halftime show there too, which was really, really fun.
Fantastic.
And I will definitely be back at the Sens games in September when they return. Thank you so much for joining us.
We'll be right back after this.